Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1787 and today's date is February 10th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Trump Makes Move on Central Bank, Patriots in Control of Economy. Now, before we get started, have you ever noticed down at your local supermarket the staff are getting older? The older generation needs to work, and the question is why? It's like a phenomenon of our times. Used to be that younger people tended to these jobs, and really you have to ask why it changed. The only reason that you're going to be working into your retirement is that you didn't save enough, or what you saved didn't work hard enough for you. In other words, you don't have enough money. Sitting on a supermarket checkout lane while your buddies are off playing golf or taking trips to Vegas or Miami is pretty soul-destroying for anyone. Retirement doesn't come cheap, so you need to do something different, something which beats inflation, not just keeps pace with it. Now, precious metals have proved time and time again they smash inflation and rising costs. A spread of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium can go into your IRA or 401k rollover, where you get a tax break on whatever you put it in. Between them, these metals will work for you in your retirement. So call Noble Gold Investments at 877-646-5347 or fill out the link below to receive the free gold and silver investment guide. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, as we know, Trump, the Patriots, their entire plan revolves around stopping the deep state, stopping the central bank. And we've talked about this before. How do you stop the deep state? How do you stop the neocons, all those individuals in government making millions upon millions of dollars? Well, it's very easy. You go after the source. What is the problem with our country? With not just our country, but the world. The central bank. This free money, this creation of currency. Well, it creates corruption. And it allows certain factions to operate. Trump and the Patriots right now, they're going after the source. Now, we know the source is the central bank. We know that Trump and the Patriots are going to be going after the central bank, but there's many steps that need to be taken before the central bank is completely brought down. You need to remove everything that the central bank set up first. Think about the Islamic State in Syria. The Islamic State in Syria, that group was growing every day. Why? They had a source of income. What was their source of income? Oil. Oil was their source of income. Obama, CIA, the Pentagon, they could never find the source. How were they continually getting the oil and making money? Russia came in and said, well, what are you talking about? Here's the convoys. Remember, back then, Obama called the shots. And they weren't allowed to do anything unless he approved. The source was the oil. Russia got rid of the source. Trump then came in and helped out because he turned everything around. So they got rid of the source, and what happened to the Islamic State? They fell apart. The same thing is happening right now. Trump and the Patriots, they're going after the source of the deep state, the source of the central banks. How do you do this? Where do you look? And how do you get rid of it? We're going to be talking about that in just a moment. But first, some good news. We see that Ford right now, they announced an additional $1 billion investment in Chicago, which will bring 500 new jobs back to the United States. And we can see that they decided, you know something, we're going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. So think about what happened here. All these companies were moving their manufacturing base over to Mexico. And with this policy that Trump set up with the new trade agreement, we can see that manufacturing is now being moved back. I mean, think about what Trump has done here. He implemented tariffs. He reprioritized trade expectations. He created investment incentives, lowered regulation, expanded economic freedom, allowing consumer demand to drive investment decisions. He's changing everything the central bank and the deep state has done. and making it possible for companies to come back here to the United States. So Ford said they're going to be hiring 500 workers and they're going to invest in Chicago. This is absolutely fantastic. And Trump needs to do this. He needs to bring back more manufacturing. Why? He needs to do this because we will be transitioning. Now, as he does this, as he brings back manufacturing and changes regulations, changes the trade deals, changes everything, at the same time, he needs to take apart the deep state, the central bank. And that's what he's doing. Now, this is a lot of pieces to the puzzle that are all moving at the same time. Now, let's look at Venezuela for a second. And as we look at it and as time goes on, you can see that the strategy that's being used there is almost identical to the strategy that he used in North Korea and parts of it of Syria. Now, Trump, the Patriots, they are allowing the deep state, the central bank, the neocons, do what they do best. Push for regime change to keep their system operational. Now, this is being done on purpose because they rather have this whole entire plan be done under their watch so they know exactly what's going on. Now, the mainstream media and the neocons and the central bank, they are falling for it. I mean, look at some of the media reports out of the mainstream media. Tensions rise as Venezuela blocks border bridge in standoff over aid, CNN. Maduro blocks critical aid sent to Venezuela, CNN. Aid arrives at Venezuela border as U.S. demands Maduro let it in, ABC News. Venezuela crisis, Pompeo demands aid corridor open, BBC. And basically, the mainstream media, as always, they're reporting the same exact story. They're loving this. This is exactly what the deep state, the central banks wanted. They are using the same script that they used before with Assad and others. Maduro was blocking aid from the U.S. out of refusal to relinquish power, preferring to starve his own people rather than defeat him. He's a dictator, he's evil, and look what he's doing. The problem with this story is the following. The Red Cross and the UN warned the U.S. not to engage in this type of aid PR stunt. The bridge in question is a visual metaphor. It is of little practical relevance. The person in charge of U.S. operations in Venezuela has a history of using aid as a cover to deliver weapons to right-wing mercenaries. So the international aid community did not ask for the aid. Both the International Red Cross and the United Nations warned the U.S. not to engage in these types of PR stunts. And we can see that despite dozens of media outlets giving the impression, and it's sometimes explicitly saying that the Venezuela government shut down an otherwise functioning pathway into the country, the bridge in question hasn't been open for years. Now, the barriers were put there, and there are other barriers because they were afraid of some type of incursion from the Colombian side. Now, this has been there for quite a while. Actually, it's been there, the reports are saying, since 2016. So why is this all happening? Why does it seem like Trump wants to have regime change in Venezuela? Why does he keep saying, or people in his administration continually say, that they might use military force? Well, think about this for a second. What is the source of the deep state central bank power? Oil. The central bank, the deep state, the neocons, they've been trying to get into Venezuela for a very long time. Why? Well, they needed the oil to be used to keep their petrodollar system afloat. That's the whole purpose of this. Trump is allowing the neocons, the deep state, the central bank, do what they do best. Trump is going to allow them to push as hard as they possibly can. Trump will tweet out that if Maduro wants to talk, he's open to it. But he'll wait for some time before he makes this announcement. He'll let this simmer and brew. Let the mainstream media go crazy over this. Make the neocons and the deep state and the central bank believe they're in control of this whole entire operation. Think about North Korea. Think about Syria. And Maduro might say, hey, listen, I'm not going to talk to him. But in reality, behind the scenes, they're already talking. Trump will play the neocons, will play the central bank, will play the deep state, making it seem like he's on their side. We're going to war. We're going to invade. And eventually what's going to happen is that Trump or Maduro, they're going to reach out. Trump might say one day that he's ready for some talks. That'd be great. Now, the purpose of this whole thing is to shut down the deep state, shut down the neocons, expose these individuals. And they're learning how they operate, where they get the weapons, how this is done. They're recording all of this. Why? They can use it later. Why interfere with an enemy while they're destroying themselves? Remember, they need to cut off the petrodollar system from the central bank. What have they done in Syria? They shut down that operation. What are they doing in Iraq? Trump is causing a huge amount of chaos there. They're in the process of shutting these endless wars down. There's no reason for them anymore. There's no reason for it in Venezuela. Once Trump, Maduro, or any other leader in Venezuela come to an understanding and they make a deal, and Venezuela is set free, what happens to the deep state and the central bank? They lost everything. This was their last hope. This was their last goal. They lost Syria. That's gone. Iraq, Libya, Lebanon, all soon to be gone, which means these countries are going to be allowed to sell their oil with whatever currency they want. Remember, the system that we're in right now is the central bank deep state system. That is coming to an end. Think about what Trump is doing right now. He's ripping each piece away from the central bank. As he does this, it weakens the central bank. There's going to be a point where the central bank is so weak, they won't have a problem taking it over. It will be that easy. As he weakens the central bank, well, the deep state, the neocons, are then weakened. Those people who are corrupt in government, they are weakened. You can see how they're planning all this. You can see that the Patriots, they are in control of the economy. Just a matter of time. And we can see it's all playing out right in front of us. Trump, the Patriots, they're moving us from one central bank system to a people's economy. That's where we are headed. That is part of the plan. So be ready, be prepared. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.